Welcome to another DK Custom Products video. My name is Kevin. This is Nathan, and today we are installing an oil filter relocation kit. The purpose of an oil filter relocation kit is twofold. Number one, to make it easy to change the oil. We just went through a nightmare because Nathan had taken this bike to a dealership that will remain unnamed.
Right.
How long did it take you to remove the oil filter that they put on there? They had it way over tightened, and of course, anybody who's ever changed their oil filter on their Harley knows that being up front there's just no way to do it without it making a mess, and it's a pain in the butt. So we're getting the oil filter relocated, not only to make it much easier to change, but also because it gets that oil filter out in the wind, cooling the oil filter. It also unblocks the area in front of the engine that the oil filter is normally blocking the wind from hitting. So now wind can hit the front of the engine and hit the oil cooler, and they're not feeding each other. We have two different types that fit touring models. One that goes underneath the back passenger peg, and another that mounts off the down tube. The one that mounts off the down tube will only work on touring models that do not have lowers. It will not work what we call the universal, that fits the Sportster, the Dyna, the Softail, and it will fit the touring models that do not have lower fairings, which this one does not. That's a machine cut finish, and you can see the finish on it is as it comes out of the machine, and a lot of people like that just fine, but Nathan wanted one that was polished. This is the exact same thing, and this has about, what, 15 minutes of mother's chrome polish put on here to shine it up, and you can see it's a completely different look once you spend a little elbow grease polishing it up. The part that goes onto the engine, he chose to have that in black because it's going up against the black part of the engine. So this goes right at where the oil filter normally mounts. And you will see on here, the most important thing when installing an oil filter relocation is to route the oil correctly. And so on here you have an out. This is the out nipple, and this is the in nipple. On this, they're not marked, but in the instructions that come with it, the engine adapters has an in and an out marked on it. On the oil filter adapter, the in is the one closest to the frame. So this mounts on the frame right like this. The frame goes through here, and the one closest to the frame, which is this one closest to the frame, is the in fitting, closest to the down tube on the oil filter mount. So when we get to installing it, we always want the out from the engine to go to the in on the oil filter adapter, and then the out from the oil filter adapter to go to the in on here, so that you have it's coming out of here, going into here, coming out of here, going into here. Don't go out to out and in to in. Go out to in, and then from in to out. Okay?
Right.
So let's get to installing this. So the first step is to get the oil engine adapter on there. You want to put some oil on the O-ring, and this only needs to go on there hand tight. I mean, it needs to be on there nice and tight, but it does not need a tool. It just needs to be hand tight. And it just threads in exactly like the oil filter threads in. This is the adapter where the hoses are going to come out and go to the relocated oil filter. We have the engine adapter on, as you can see right there. we're going to put on the oil filter adapter. We're going to put on some blue tape on the bottom, painter's tape, masking tape, whatever, on the bottom, because that's what's going to hold, that's what's going to keep the shims from falling through until it's tightened. And then of course, once it's tightened down, pull that painter's tape off, and the fact that it's tightened down will keep the shims in there. Yeah, so the shims have a little irregularity. Put that at the bottom. And the tape keeps it from going all the way down. Put another shim on the back. So these get tightened down to 8 to 10 foot-pounds. So not tight at all. We have thread locker on it. So we have the engine adapter connected. We have the oil filter adapter connected. You torqued it down to 8 to 10 foot-pounds.
Correct.
Now it's a matter of routing the oil lines from the out on the engine adapter to the in on the oil filter adapter, and then from the out on the oil filter adapter back to the in on the engine. And there's one piece of hose. So what I like to do is I like to go ahead and put a hose clamp on and put that on the one that's going to be the out on the engine and going to the in on the oil filter adapter. Slide it on there, all the way on there, and make it so that, do you have it where the screw for tightening the hose clamp is accessible?
Pointed this way.
Okay, bring that up how you're going to want it to be, and now you know where to cut that hose.
Okay.
Put the other hose clamp on that piece of hose and tighten those two down. The thing that's important about the hose clamps is to not over tighten them. We have an entire video that we'll put up in the corner here that tells you how tight to get them, but it's basically just until the hose clamp is barely depressing into the hose around it. You don't want it to really be deforming the hose. You want it just to barely be in. But watch the video that we put up in the corner. That tells you how much to tighten them. And of course, you want the hose clamp to be on the inside of the flared part, on the inside of the flared part of the nipple there. So there, we got that there. Now we get that hose clamp up just a little, tighten that puppy down. All right, now do the other one. And of course, whenever you're routing the hoses, you want to make sure that you're not touching any part of the engine. Go ahead and move your shift to make sure that that's not going to hit anything. Nope. So you're not hitting anything, so you're all good on your oil hose routing. So we hope this video was useful to you. And I know before we started this, because this is your first time installing an oil filter relocation, right?
Correct.
Was it a little intimidating before you started?
I had no idea what I was getting into with that.
But then what?
But that ended up being a very easy install.
That was actually easier and faster than the tank lift and cooling deflector wings, wasn't it?
Right, and easier than taking the oil filter off at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because
Right.
whoever had put that oil filter on before had over-tightened it, and it was a pain in the butt to get off. And, yeah, so now you have easy oil changes. You have a cooler running engine, not only from this being out in the wind, but also because now the front of the engine's not blocked by this sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you all have any questions about oil filter relocations, please don't hesitate to contact us either by email or a phone call. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. We'd really appreciate it. Y'all ride safe out there.